Kyle Tucker is a Los Angeles Dodger. This we know. Does this cap off the offseason? Are there more moves ahead for the Dodgers? Of course there are. There's something going to be happening. We're talking about what comes next for the Dodgers as spring training nears. Plus, is this a fair fight for baseball? Yes, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and a whole bunch of other stuff here on the Saturday edition of All Dodgers. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast, part of the Bleav Network podcast, presented by FanDuel. I am Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media machine. That guy joining me today is, from the kitchen, of course, is Kevin Skinner. Give him a follow, Skinner7. Kevin on the mainly just the Twitter, the X, whatever you want to call it.
I don't have Instagram.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen, if you see any of the Instagram. For some reason right now, people are posting things from 10 years ago. So I got in and I posted things from my 2016. Go check it out. Tell me I was skinnier then, everybody. Guys, we're going to talk about Kyle Tucker. We got voicemails on today's show. So far, just two of them. So please, guys, call in 562-373-4095. I very much want to hear how people feel about I didn't expect this kind of offseason. Coming off of winning a World Series back-to-back, I did not expect this to be a ho-hum Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker kind of offseason, but here we are. This is a week ago, I was complaining about the Andy Ibanez move being official and complaining and others having worries that maybe that's possibly going to be the final move of the offseason. Andrew Friedman said, "Hold my beer, bro."
Yeah, and not to mention, it was kind of a weird one simply because it's like, okay, why is the first move? Well, I mean, they had Edwin Diaz first, but it's like, why is the move a backup infielder or like a starting infielder, I guess, but like will likely be a bench piece when everybody's healthy.
He's just on a major league deal too. Like
it seems it was a really bizarre signing for what the team needed. But yeah, it's been a good offseason. The Kyle Tucker bit surprised me simply because I didn't think his market would not mature enough to the point where this kind of deal was possible. But the Edwin Diaz didn't surprise me as much. It's really cool, but we knew that they were gonna play in big waters for a relief pitcher because it was just like the biggest need. They can do the Michael Conforto thing again in the outfield. They can do that, but there was no way they could run out the same bullpen again and go, "Yep, everything's fixed." So we could all see that one coming. But to get Edwin Diaz was pretty cool. Again, especially on the contract they gave him. I mean, that's always, the exclamation point on all these contracts they're giving out are awesome for all parties involved. But generally when it's, these all are fairly on the Dodgers terms and considering the length, it's awesome.
Yeah, I had said it yesterday on Dodgers territory. I love that we're in this weird era where the Dodgers can just financially bully their way out of not needing to worry about a player's decline years. It's lovely. It's wonderful. I should also remind people, this is a Saturday. We might get a little spicy with the language. If you guys are, looking for a more family-friendly edition of the show, tune in any other episode. But Saturdays, we might have a little bit more colorful language here and there. That said, again, 4 years, $240 million, which is just a ridiculous sum to say. But the fact that he gets to be a free agent again after his age, 32 season.
At the latest.
Exactly. Chances are pretty high. I don't know. We got to see what the structure of the contract looks like. If there's any, I think it's straight up, AAV at $57 million each year or something like that.
If this front loader backloaded.
Yeah, but
they tend to backload, I think, the last couple years, right? That's what they did with Yamamoto's contract.
I think so. I think
like
so.
the post opt out, which yes, Yamamoto does have an opt out.
Yeah.
Is all in the back. So if he stays with the team, he gets more money. But it's if Kyle Tucker plays well, like as we expect, he doesn't have to play above his. If he just plays to his norm, Yeah, he opts out in 2 years and he'll just get another bag because he's that is he jump off the page, good in any category? No, but he's like a B plus in literally everything, which is very, very, very hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. It's good stuff. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say it because I was distracted and maybe I wasn't fully listening to everything you said. Hey, that's called professionalism. A couple things in the chat. I want to thank Evan Sotelo, who just became a member of the YouTube channel. Appreciate you, Evan. You should get some information as well on how you can I don't know. This says became a member. I don't know what level. There's the cheapest tier where you get access to the emojis here on YouTube, and then there's a $5 tier where you get access to our Discord. So email me if you got that. Otherwise, we appreciate you either way. Our friend the Enigma is in the chat, who has been the leader in the clubhouse, the Discord clubhouse when it comes to Kyle Tucker needs to be a Dodger. He expected this kind of offseason. This is the Friedman way. This is the Friedman way now. Kevin and I were just talking a little bit before the show about very recently some of the lean years. The trade deadline of adding a Joey Gallo, an offseason where they're hoping that the ghost of Noah Syndergaard figures it out. Andrew Heaney, Tyler Anderson, both had varying levels of success. But to go from that shit to fucking Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, the next offseason, Blake Snell, you get him in the mix. You also trade for and extend immediately Tyler Glasnow. Like, I talked about it, and maybe this is getting ahead of ourselves in some way, shape, or form. How about this? This from my buddy. He's always going to be Trace Outman season to me. How about that kind of lineup right there? Chris Taylor, Max Muncy, Will Smith, Trace Thompson, Joey Gallo, Miguel Vargas, Cody Bellinger, Austin Barnes, and Dodgers legend Hanser Alberto. That was a lineup. That was a lineup that the Los Angeles Dodgers rolled out, and they made it into a postseason. And they played. Was that the year? When was that?
Michael Grove was the starting pitcher.
Michael Grove being the starting pitcher. What year was that? Was that 22? When did they trade for Joey Gallo?
22.
Okay,
yeah.
So
because that was the same year they traded for Shelby Miller. That was the big. Was the big trade deadline with Shelby Miller and Joey Gallo.
Joey. My God, the difference from that, and we'll dive into this a little bit more later, but from like lineups that where you have options of looking like this: Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Kyle Tucker, Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Tasker Hernandez, Max Muncy, Andy Pajes, Tommy Edman. My sweet Lord. It is fun. It is fun to be the Dodgers. Clear winners of the offseason. I think everybody can agree about that. Everybody who has a differing opinion is probably a Padres fan, because the crash out down in San Diego right now, ooh boy, that shit is funny. Have you seen? I mean, you got a lot of San Diego friends. How are they feeling?
Yeah. My one friend texted me. He's like, "I knew this would happen." It's like, okay, I didn't see it happening. Yeah. I followed the team.
Let us know. We could have been ready.
Yeah, it would be great. I wouldn't have been so stressed out this entire time. They're not happy. Part of it's projection. Their own team is like currently up for, or not. It's not officially up for sale, but they are exploring all avenues, including the sale of the team. And their contracts are all pretty bad for them, like all their long term. So it's a little bit of projection, and the fact that they had a chance. They were up 2-1, and the DS couldn't finish them off though, and now we're here.
I was looking at the Padres, and we talked about this also earlier this week on Dodgers territory. They're still in a pretty good spot roster wise. Those guys haven't super aged yet. They're going to be competitive. We know they play the Dodgers well. Give them a season or two more, and sweet Lord, is it going to be much, much worse down there in San Diego as they keep getting older and you have dudes playing out of position and all this kind of stuff. Before I get into the whole fair fight stuff, I do want to dive more into that lineup, because I put one version up on the Dodgers territory, and there's other people who have other versions of what a Dodgers lineup can look like. Which do you like Mookie batting second? I mean, the Dodgers won a World Series with Will Smith batting second.
Yeah, so part of the reason, throw back to just to piss everybody off again, why I wanted Alex Bregman was because he could bat second as a right-handed bat. Because I don't know if it's in Mookie's best interest for him to bat second behind Shohei. I mean, they literally walked him, Shohei, intentionally. And Mookie just couldn't drive him in. And that's, it happens. Like, don't get me wrong. It happens. Like, that's going to happen over the course of a season. Before that, Mookie was on an absolute heater whenever a team intentionally walked Shohei. So, like, you could call that regression to the mean. But I just think it's a high pressure spot for Mookie Betts to be in. He had a rough year last year. I think it's fair to say at the start of the season, he's going to be batting second because Doc's going to stick with his guys. That's what he does. And kind of we'll see, but I wanted a Bregman or a Bichette simply because if Mookie doesn't, kind of come back to being Mookie Betts, maybe not hitting 30 homers, but at least getting on base, slugging a little bit more than he had, not popping out all the time. There's not a great hitter. There's not a great answer for this team to bat second that's right-handed.
Yeah.
At that point, you're getting into like a huge lefty lane, which I know the Dodgers like to avoid. I also, as a fan, and just I don't like having big lanes like that, just so you could line up relief pitchers.
I mean, to be fair, like any of these dudes there's no real like splits issues. I mean, towards the bottom, you definitely get into splits issues. We know Teo can when he's right can mash lefties, but can also hold his own against righties. But everybody else at the top should conceivably hit both sides of both arms pretty well. So that said, you can still see in these versions of a lineup, I went pretty much exclusively left right because I'm a big time left right guy as well. I don't like those runs, those lefties where you can bring in a dominant reliever and hopefully for the other team beat them, but that they're trying to get you to like strike out a whole bunch and be mad and we're all sad anyways. Continue.
And I don't like Will Smith batting second either because he doesn't play all the time. And so then it's, I think there is something. I know, Mookie has talked about he doesn't like moving around in the lineup too much. He kind of likes knowing where he's going to be. It was you could cry with money. But like he said it was a big adjustment going from first to second for him. And then all of a sudden, if he's, 2 out of every 3 games, he's batting fourth, and then a third of the time he's batting second. That might, he might have some problems with that. That might just throw his game off even further. So that's why I kind of like having Will Smith batting cleanup, because then, if he's not batting cleanup, Teoscar can bat cleanup, or Max if you want him to. So that's just my concern with batting Will Smith second. The easiest answer is just have Mookie be Mookie. And then the only other gripe I had is there's no way I want Freddie Freeman batting anywhere but third. I still think he's arguably the best bat in the lineup. He's at least the most consistent bat in the lineup. I like every time any situation that happens, I want Freddie Freeman holding the stick because he's just so good with it. So I personally have Kyle Tucker batting fifth. He maybe has a higher ceiling and definitely has a higher ceiling than Freddie Freeman, but on any given at bat, if I need an at bat to save my life, I want 5 holding the bat.
Yeah, he's definitely proven to be there. Step up, been there, done that kind of duty. Steps up in the big moments. Again, I'm gonna put it back up because there are seriously no wrong answers. Max Muncy had one of the bigger home runs of the postseason, obviously in that Game 7 in the 8th inning. Andy Pages had a really good first half of last year. Completely disappeared in the month of October. We'll talk more about him, but. It's insane, and I can understand to tease ahead of the whole fair fight stuff. I can understand why players might even have an issue looking at that kind of stuff. But boo-hoo, you also make a lot of money to deal with it. The Enigma, they drive nice Beamers. With the $1.99 super chat from the Enigma, thank you very much. Saying the lineup protection for Tucker will be insane. I mean, the lineup protection all around is going to be crazy. But they have
because. Well, we didn't talk a lot about Tucker's number and kind of his profile as a hitter. We just kind of reacted to the signing. The dude doesn't strike out a lot. He takes a lot of walks. Like, he is the exact kind of bat this lineup needs, because all last year we just kept talking about, oh, God, this team strikes out a ton. And they did. They struck out a lot. And, having Teoscar in the middle of the lineup was painful. And that's why missing Max was such a big deal, because he's like the one guy that could take a walk, or, he's not going to strike out in a silly fashion. And he probably has a striking out a lot too.
Yeah, that's a strikeout king right there for sure.
Yeah. Kyle Tucker doesn't strike out a ton. He's a good contact hitter with real power. So like having him in like the middle of the lineup, you kind of have another Max Muncy in a way. With how grindy his at bats can be and how he doesn't chase, he'll take a walk gladly. So it's gonna be fun to have him, kind of in the middle of that lineup where at times it felt like a black hole, where you just kind of, I don't know how many times they got sat down in order when like 5, 6, 7 would come up to bat, or 6, 7, 8, and it would just be like, oh man, the pitcher's just mowing through these guys.
Yeah,
that's not going to be the case with somebody like Kyle Tucker. Often it'll happen. Obviously, it's baseball. You play a lot, and there's a lot of at bats, but it won't happen that often because he's really fun to watch at the plate.
Yeah, he's the type of bat that we talked a lot about this offseason that the Dodgers need. Jeff and I talked a whole bunch about bat to ball guys. You need, or ball to bat, whatever you want to call it. You need somebody who doesn't strike out, somebody who keeps the ball moving, somebody who gets on base, somebody that, he's going to run into a few dingers. When he's healthy, Kyle Tucker is going to run into 30, 35 homers. He's probably going to hit the most homers of his career this upcoming season if he can play 150 plus games. Playing with the Dodgers. This is a bat you want. If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be like the next best option would have been a Steven Kwan, who's likely not available. But just come on down, Kyle Tucker. Dodgers win the offseason and then some. I want to make sure I get voicemails in early. We got a couple of thoughts from folks here. What else did I have I wanted to get to real quick? Stephanie asking, when is that Kyle Tucker press conference? From what I'm hearing, we're expecting it on Tuesday. With Monday being a holiday, the expectation is Tuesday or Wednesday. Of course, someone else had mentioned in the chat, I didn't have this one starred, but we're also waiting on what the roster move is going to be. And this is where, like, we talk lineup construction and all that. Who or what does this signing affect? That's more of the fallout conversation. And I made this screen for the Dodgers territory.
That looks pretty.
Looking at who they have around, who they have available, of course, Teo's going to be moving to left. That's just yes, that's what's happening. It's what we all wanted. Everybody go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for Teo moving to left field. Not that he's going to be a good defender out there. He's just not going to be as obvious of a liability, in my opinion, at least. But you got KT out there in right field. Andy Pajes, who got pretty damn good, let's be fair, in center field as the season progressed. Muntz, Mook, Edmund, Freddy, and then that bench, you have some opportunities to get better at some point. Kike Hernandez will be in the mix there, so you can get rid of Andy Ibanez. But I still love Miggy Rowe, even entering, age 37, his age 37 season or whatever it is.
I think he had his best offensive year last year.
He was great. Give me Miggy Rowe, give me Alex Call, stepping in, giving some opportunity, getting some opportunities as that fourth outfielder. The big one I need to see something from is Dalton Rushing. I need to see some advancement out of Rush. I need to see him show some of that prospect's sheen, if you will. But the other thing is, who does it affect the most? Ryan Ward. Ryan Ward's opportunities and Haesung Kim's consistent opportunities. I think those are the two guys that are the most affected by this signing. They're also the two most unproven dudes. And we've had the kind of people are interpreting our thoughts about Kim as we don't like him, or we think he's a bad player. It's not that. He's very unproven, and he was great when he came up last year. Hit over he hit 390 for a stretch or something like that, and then he cratered hard and was striking out a ton and can play a hell of a second base. Very unproven everywhere else. Not so much of an outfielder. Great depth piece to have. I don't know that he signed here with the expectation of being a AAA dude, but he's definitely going to be affected by this move. There's a fair chance Tommy Edman misses time to open the season on the IL, which is fine. Let him get back into playing shape. And If Kim can seize that opportunity, then maybe things change. But those are the guys I think are the most affected. Kim, Ryan Ward.
Definitely. And Ryan Ward could be the move to clear up that 40-man roster spot for Kyle Tucker. It's a possibility because he's completely blocked now. They're in barring injury, which could happen. And yeah, with where this team is, teams have championship windows, and this team is just in an unprecedented championship window. If you ask me, where there's really no room right now for prove it guys from the position players. We need proven commodities. We need real MLB players.
Good players, living players.
Now, living players. Exactly. There's not a lot of time to, let's see what we got. Like, yeah, this team could obviously afford it simply because of the talent around them, but hey, there's no pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. There's a huge target on this team's back. And to get through 162, getting every team's best. I mean, they're going to get every team's best. Their teams are going to line up their pitching staffs to make sure that when they play the Dodgers, they have at least as much as they can, their best pitchers going against them. We're going to get that all year. We can't really be experimenting right now with Ha-Seong Kim, who, looked completely lost at times. And the same goes for Andy Paz. If Andy Paz October bleeds into next season, they're going to have to find an answer because, hey, man, batting 070 is not far from cutting it on this roster.
Yeah. I'll say I appreciate the kind of question marks. We'll say a little bit second base of a question mark. Definitely center field is a spot that I'll be watching pretty closely. But I don't know, a little part of me in the back of my mind would love it to fail ever so slightly because I think of that trade deadline, being active at the trade deadline, us having things to talk about, baby.
They're going to be active at the trade. It happens every year. Right now we're talking about, how good this roster is. And in the middle of what? We'll go so far as early April. We're going to go, oh, man, we need a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
We need relief help.
If this team needs a starting pitcher in 6 months,
every year we say it every year. Ugh. Every year. We always do. We just do. I know, but every year we talk like, man, when Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin were like our depth pieces, and we're like, oh yeah, this is like we don't need starting pitching. Look how good these guys are, and then in the middle we're like,
they just kept being healthy. Yeah, that's part of what led to this. By the way, throwing back to. I think I had put this up on the screen, the whole enough is enough, making all of these signings and whatever. The reliance on Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May to be healthy and then just really never being healthy and available consistently. That's what led to this. And the Noah Syndergaards, the Tyler Andersons, all these type of dudes, these which should, your Lance Lynn should be he was absolutely in need that particular trade deadline.
Yeah, but that's what they could get.
Being embarrassed come postseason time, that's what led to all of these signings, all of these pitching signings in particular and acquisitions. I don't even want to entertain, just out of my own mental health, I don't even want to entertain the fact that they could be active for starting pitching at the trade deadline. We're not going to allow that. We're not even going to think about that. Dodger Dogs had asked earlier, by the way, hey, if they're going to trade for somebody at the deadline, it's going to be Tarek Skubal. Says, how are we feeling about that rotation? What happens if their aces are all healthy? Do we see a move to trade one or two for Tarek Skubal? No. If everybody's healthy, I don't see that happening. I don't think there's a need. Yes, you always want to have Tarek Skubal, but there wouldn't be a need if all of those arms are healthy. Yeah. And, in the same conversation to sort of shift to pitching talk for a second, in the same conversation with Ha-Seong Kim, and you don't really have the time, the ability, I guess the open window to experiment with some of these players. Roki Sasaki falls in that same category. He is going to get his opportunities. He's going to start a whole bunch in spring training. I think they said he's not going to be a part of Team Japan and WBC because of all of the injuries last year. So he's going to be around the organization. It is time for him, an opportunity for him to make an impression, make a lasting impression, and maybe find a way to, grasp onto that 5 or 6 spot in the starting rotation. But still, very unproven dude. You can get away with it if it's your sixth guy in the rotation, I think. But an everyday player on the field, it's a lot more difficult to kind of swallow that. But to the Dodger Dogs question, I mean, if something lines up for Tarek Skubal, they're always going to be active. They're always going to be advantageous if the position or the opportunity presents itself. But if everybody's healthy, I really like what they have in-house, what they have with that organization so far. What do we say? Let's listen to a voicemail, and then we got a couple more super chats. But I want to make sure we get some voicemails in earlier, guys. Make sure if you have some thoughts, call in. You see it on the screen, 562-373-4095. I will be checking for new voicemails along the way. We'll be around for probably about another half an hour today. But let's go ahead and listen to, I Bleav this is Isabel from Anaheim.
Hi, guys. This is Isabel from Anaheim. I just want to say I love the deal for Kyle Tucker. I didn't think we were going to get him. So, and I love when we got Edwin Diaz. So anyway, and I think Katie do a great job for you guys. She's wonderful. I love listening to Katie already. So anyway, well, have a good weekend, and yeah, go Dodgers. I'm really looking forward to this season. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.
Appreciate Isabel calling in. Yeah.
This is Isabel from Anaheim. Bye.
I didn't know there was more. Appreciate Isabel calling in. Yeah, sorry, Kevin is not Katie Wu, but appreciate it. It's been fun having Katie around. Good,
She's
great addition to the DT fam. She'll be our insider, by the way, at the press conference, because I hate going to press conferences. I really hate going to Dodger Stadium for the one and done media thing. So I don't do it anymore. I'm retired. I got somebody out. I got boots on the ground there.
On the ground.
To part of Isabel's like point there, the excitement, I think everybody could read the room. I was exhausted from this past season. I was burnt out. I think we all had a little bit of burnout surviving that season where a team, they only won 93, 94 games. All of the struggles, all of the Michael Conforto talk, getting through a Game 7 and that Game 7 going in the manner in which it did. It was a lot. The excitement has finally come back for me, though. I'm looking forward to spring training a whole bunch. I'm looking forward to even Fan Fest, whether I go or not. I'm kind of on the fence. Have you ever been to one of those, by the way?
Nope.
Have you been out here for one?
You know what? I might have gone as a kid.
You're a kid.
But
Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid. Well, they were doing different versions, I think. How long has FanFest been around?
I think they did it in the early 2000s. Sounds like something they do.
Maybe it was a different version. I don't know.
That would have been the last time.
They had the community caravans back then, if that was maybe what you were talking about. I don't know.
I was like 9 or 10 when I went to it, so I have no idea what it was. My dad just brought me, and I got baseball signed by like Caesars tours and stuff like that.
Izzy, Dodgers legend. I love this from John C. I had a moment to look at the chat. It says, question, if you're Mookie or Freddy, you just go to work literally thinking, what the fuck? I mean,
it's gotta be fun.
I don't know. It's gotta for Mookie. Fun. I can't imagine him being shocked about any of this anymore.
I don't know.
This is being a Dodger.
Part of it's being a Dodger, but I mean, even in Boston, he had a pretty stacked. Those Boston teams were crazy too. I don't know. I still think you kind of have to. Freddie maybe more so than Mookie, because Freddie had some lean years in Atlanta before they got like really really good. But I don't know. I still think it I still look. You put up the lineup and it's just like, what the heck is all this? The talent on this team is crazy. When you have when your worst batter could arguably be Tommy Edman at like a league average batter. That's your worst. That's a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hell, if he can get back up to league average, I think it'll be in a much better spot. Was not a good year or a healthy year for
not a healthy year
for Tommy Edman
at all.
I was trying to find as Denny joins us late because YouTube struggles for some dumb reason with their own alert system, their own notifications, guys. Follow us on the Twitter. That's the best way to know when we're going live, or on Discord. Definitely always post on Discord when we're going to go live. But I was trying to find somebody who had left a comment about the going back to the FanFest thing, how much they're charging for FanFest and all these experiences, and just how expensive spring training has got. I can't find the comment, but spring training, just in general, not only going to Camelback Ranch to watch Dodger games, but any of these ballparks now, it's fucking insane just to exist at in the Cactus League in Arizona. Like, going and watching the Royals play the A's is like not cheap. It's not cheap. And for somebody who goes to spring training, this is now 12 year 13 running, going with the boys. We go to a bunch of ballparks, we drink a bunch of beer, we gamble a whole bunch, make loud scenes there or whatever. It's cutting into our drinking money, and that's just not cool. Fix yourself, Arizona. Son of a bitch.
It's tough because, growing up, it was like this baseball was the family sport because it was, affordable in general. And I mean, especially as a Dodger fan, it certainly is not affordable anymore. I mean, and I feel it when they come to town, because you can get tickets in the outfield at Wrigley for sometimes $35. Dodgers are in town; they're $100. It's insane. White Sox games, it was $100 to go to a Dodgers White Sox game. During the year the White Sox had the worst record in baseball. It was not cheap. Thankfully, I didn't have to pay for parking because you can actually get in and out of those stadiums. On a train or on a metro. So.
This would be a great segue into my fair fight conversation, but I do want to listen to our voicemails because I have a whole thought about the idea of the fair fight and how every team can do some version of what the Dodgers are doing. But instead, I'm not going to take that. I am going to make sure we get back to voicemails. Here is somebody. I think this might be Noah.
Well, what up, guys? It's Noah, as you know. And I got to say, guys, I am so happy we got Kyle Fucker. It's pretty amazing. We literally came out of nowhere and snatched him. Man, it's amazing. It's pretty funny, though, seeing all the reaction, seeing all the hate going on around the internet. It's pretty ridiculous. A lot of people forget that in 2023, the Padres, Yankees, and Mets were top 5 in payroll, and yet they did not even make the postseason. And the one year that the Padres did make it was when they did not spend money, and it was literally the series where they were literally one win away from going to the NLCS, and we were literally choking. But nope, they blew it. And sure enough, the Blue Jays blew it also in the World Series when they were literally inches away from winning the World Series. Plus that double play by Kike and Tyler Glasnow with those 3 pitches, 3 outs. It's pretty crazy, guys. But anyways, let's just embrace the dark side and let's go after Cody Bellinger, guys. Just to break the system, you could say. Let's trade Teoscar, a few prospects, and Sheehan for Speedball. That way we get the best starting pitcher, and we got Bellinger to be an outfielder. Plus, he can move to first base after Freddy does leave. Because, let's be honest, guys, let's just ruin the sport. Plus, hey, if Bellinger is bad at the plate, at least he plays amazing defense, guys. And let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest here, though. What we're experiencing, though, we're not going to experience probably ever again. This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. So let's enjoy it while we still have it and appreciate everything. Believe in Friedman, guys. Anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. But as you guys know, fuck the Dodgers Stadium parking lot, fuck Manny Machado, fuck Fernando Tatis Jr., fuck the Giants, and for the love of God, fuck the Ghost Runner. See ya.
He got his F-bombs in there. We appreciate Noah, as you know. Another great voicemail, a great opportunity to get into the fair fight conversation. So maybe we got a couple more voicemails. We got Richie. We got Darren calling in. Appreciate Darren calling in. Listen, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this whole fair fight thing. Is this a fair fight? Dodgers spending all this money, and you and I were talking before the show. I saw a clip of Chris Rose in that show he does with Trevor Plouffe. Jeff Passan had the similar kind of conversation with, I think, Pat McAfee about all the money and fans getting disenchanted by the Dodgers spending, even players being like, how are you going to compete with that? So the narrative, again, is this a fair fight? You see it on the screen. Look, guys, every team can do this. And this is going to be me and you guys here for a second. Every team can do this, and I don't mean the deferrals. I don't mean the spending gobs of money, at least directly. You build your way to that, like the Dodgers did. You can invest into your organization, top to bottom, the way the Dodgers do. You can invest, of course, in players directly through free agency or whatever, but indirectly in scouting, in just player development, all of that kind of stuff. You make a club that is so good, so talented, such a draw. We were just talking a minute ago about Kevin paying $100 to go see the Dodgers play at a White Sox game. That is a type of draw that makes your team money when players or fans everywhere want to go and watch your team. You make him such a draw that it starts making money hand over fist, that yes, you can pocket that money. You can pocket some of that money for sure, but you also reinvest it into your ball club and you make more money. That's what the Dodgers did. When I was thinking about this, I always think of a line from the old RoboCop, the 1987 RoboCop. It doesn't quite fit perfectly here, but it works well enough for me. There's a line where they're in like their drug den or whatever, and the guy says, you steal the money to buy the coke, you sell the coke to make even more money. It's free enterprise right there. You invest money into your brand, into your business, into the players. You buy the players, you sell the players, you market the players, and the success to the fans, you make even more money. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yes, it's a long grind, Kevin, because we think of when Guggenheim took over in 2012 and immediately buying Adrian Gonzalez, Josh Beckett, and then taking on Josh Beckett and Carl Crawford because they wanted Agon. You take on that money, and then that payroll was close to $300 million. I'm like, oh shit! Coming off of the Frank McCourt area, I was like, oh shit, this is insane. But that wasn't always the play. The play was always, all right, let's build some sustainability. Let's build internal. Let's get the right people here and there. We advance, 8 years. When a franchise-changing player is available via trade and you got the pieces to move for him, you go out and get yourself a Mookie Betts. When a Freddie Freeman is dropped on your doorstep, you sign a Freddie Freeman. They invested. They got better. They got punched in the face in a couple of postseason, and they said, you know what? We got enough money. We've been waiting out Shohei. Let's fucking go. And that's what they did. It took enough time. It took enough getting kicked in the teeth. They didn't just decide to start doing this. They built for it, and here we are living it. Every organization, in my opinion, can do something like, maybe they can't spend $400 million and also buy a major investment into the Los Angeles Lakers. But you could do something to make your club better than those bottom 15 or 20 teams in baseball.
Absolutely. And, for as much people want to talk about, how ridiculous the Dodgers payroll is, and it is ridiculous because I think we're in like the 400 millions at this point.
413, I think, is the projection right now.
Oh, beautiful. We just need to spend $7 million more dollars, or $3.5 million more dollars. Hey, what doesn't get talked about is the Dodgers have the number one farm system per MLB executives. They didn't pay for the farm system directly. That's drafting, trading, that's developing players. They always, and it's not a coincidence that every year someone in single A that we've never heard of before is all of a sudden in the top 100 of prospects because they just have like a ridiculous tool set that, that could translate to the MLB level. The Dodgers get that by paying for the most. I think they have the most scouts on staff of any MLB team. They have they pay for better facilities. They, it was the Dodgers that fed their players, and then eventually the MLBPA was like, "Hey, we should also have the other 29 clubs should also feed their players better." Dodgers they do stuff like that too, and yeah, it didn't translate. And if you get the moniker of playoff chokers or whatever, there was a lot of mocking and finger pointing, and at a point it's like, okay, fine, if that's what is going to happen, let's just lean into it fully, and that's what they've done. Is it a fair fight? Yeah, it's still a fair fight because they were 2 outs away from losing the World Series with regardless of the spending, because it's baseball. Baseball's a weird, wonky sport, and we love it because the best team doesn't always win. And injuries can happen. Anything can go wrong. The Dodgers just buying themselves percentage points. That's all they're doing. And it's the reason they're here where they are is because they've drafted and developed. The Mets have tried to do, Steve Cohen's tried to do what the Dodgers have done, and it hasn't worked.
He tried to speed run it though.
Yeah, but that's the point. Is it hasn't worked because the farm system isn't where the Dodgers were at. They didn't have a Corey Seager come through the system.
He tried to on that note, the previous regime, Ned Colletti left this Dodgers front office in a really, really good spot with your Jock Pops, with your Seagers, with
Will
Bellinger
Smith
in there.
Will Smith
was definitely the best under Andrew Friedman, Billy Gasparino, and all that kind of stuff. Who Billy Gasparino, by the way, absolutely deserves a shout out for not drafting necessarily, or not being a part of drafting a bunch of players that helped the Dodgers directly on the field, but guys that have indirectly helped them on the field. Your Michael Bush types, other players whose names I can't think of right now that have been since traded. Gavin Lux is one of those type of names, all the way. By the way, these dudes all, I think, were part of that insane 2016 draft, which also netted the Dodgers Will Smith. But anyways, there was another point I was going to make off of your point, but I lost it. So continue.
Poof. No, it's Steve Cohen. You want to look at what just spending money for the sake of spending money does. You get what? Jorge Polanco playing first base and both third. Maybe he's never played third base. Like that's
Polanco hasn't played first. Why did they not just re-sign Pete Alonso?
Yeah, that's what spending money for the sake of spending money does.
Yeah,
not putting together a roster that in a clubhouse culture like they have, like. It's not just that they paid their players a lot. It's, oh, hey, look, there's no clubhouse. It's not a circus anymore. It used to be. They cleaned it up. They figured it out. Like, there's a lot of the underlying stuff that, other teams, other fan bases, they don't see every day because they don't follow a team like we do. But it's like, there's always talk of, do Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto hate each other? I don't know, maybe. But there's never been a question like that in the Dodgers clubhouse, at least of recent ilk in the last, like, say, 10 years. That doesn't happen. There's always talk about Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and their relationship down south.
Yeah.
It's not a question here because they've done the homework. They've built a good culture. They've had prospects come through the system. There's a way of doing it, and they've done it right. And I just think a little bit of projection of just like fan bases wish their owners acted like this or, created a culture like this. And it's tough to do. Obviously, we've lived through the McCord era and the early goings of the Guggenheim group where it wasn't always pretty. We had to deal with Yasiel Puig and, his antics for a little while, which were fun. And then once that stopped, we're like, yeah, we could do without that. I think we'd all prefer to be where we are now. But teams can do this. They just kind of choose not to.
A lot of organizations choose not to.
Yeah.
Even
the Cubs are like one of the worst offenders at it.
I was going to say the Cubs.
They make money hand over fist, and they don't have amazing facilities. They don't, thankfully they actually paid for a player in Alex Bregman this year, but their farm system isn't phenomenal either. They did just trade away their number one outfield prospect, but like that was like the one guy they had. Because they don't invest as much into their minor league system like the Dodgers do. So it's frustrating to hear. It's an earned moniker of like buying a championship. It's earned because they do spend a ton of money, but it's not just for the product on the field; it's for a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it's a ton of behind the scenes. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about them investing $100 million into the stadium renovation last offseason into shit that fans don't even fucking see.
Yeah, that's for player comfort. That
was what's it called? That was Yamamoto saying like, "Hey, bro, I'd like a bidet."
I'd like a bidet. No, they're like, "Yeah,
we
sure,
got
whatever,
you,
we'll
fam."
do it.
Yeah, like shit like that is ridiculous that they do that. They built this minor league facility down the road here in Ontario because they want a place that has the latest state of the art in technology and pitching and hitting lab technology to help not only their minor leaguers that go through there. It's probably going to be the best facility in minor leagues, I would imagine, or if not, very, very close to it. But not only that, but so they can send their dudes down the road who are rehabbing, like Lone Mart Field in Rancho. Very fun place. It's antiquated. It is old. It is busted. It is not. They just barely got a scoreboard there that wasn't like light bulbs, that you screw in. Like it took a minute. It took a minute as. I know. I saw our friend Mike Salas in the chat. Mike knows he's covered. He's been there covering them for Dodgers Beat in the past for our buddy Tim Rogers and Dodgers 2080 and all of that. Tim's been there a whole bunch in the past. It's so many steps down from what they're doing with what are they called, the tower buzzers now, and that's the type of thing the Dodgers do. Now you mentioned the Cubs. They invest in the ability to stuff in more fans to get more head count, which they needed because it was like a 35,000 capacity before.
It's a very small stadium.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, you want to go watch the game on the roof across the street? Not really, but I guess. Cool. That we own that now. Boston, they have pretty good player development. Obviously, you see they have a bunch of talent when it comes to. They're probably over. Yeah, they're overstuffed with they need outfielders. Exactly. Hey, maybe Jaron Duran, Andy Paez. Anyways,
I'll take Andy Paez.
But they don't really invest in free agency that much. And yes, I understand they just gave money to Ranger Suarez last week. But they don't invest there, like Garrett Crochet. Well, that was a guy.
But then they let homegrown guys like Devers leave. Mookie.
They'll do extensions to a degree for everybody but Mookie apparently. But they don't invest as much as they should.
It's a little different, but
a little different for sure. Dodgers are just the model. They are absolutely the model organization. We have some super chats, by the way. Seth Klein, $5 in the spirit of the conversation. Watching the fallout from other fandoms has been delicious. Embrace being the evil empire. Appreciate that from Seth. I got the burps. Seth also said, for $20, what a guy, what a legend. Our favorite Klein. Says, fuck a fair fight. Yankees used to use the A's as a minor league team. Red Sox did something similar in the early 20s. Astros literally cheated to beat us in 2017. I say, if it ain't against the rules, go all in. And it's not. And the thing is, the Dodgers also pay handsomely to be able to do this. Other clubs benefit.
I think the Rays just get $60 million just for existing because they're not over the luxury test.
I want all that. Where do I apply for that job?
Yeah, like just for being in the league, they get like $60 million because they're under the luxury tax, and those who pay the luxury tax, that's their dividend. So, where's that money going? I don't know.
I would like to see
for
where
Gavin Lux. And of course, like the one time the Rays give out a big contract, it's to like an actual like criminal. Like, oh god, that's gotta be so. Oh, poor Rays fans. Poor Rays fans.
Yeah. But enough about Evan Longoria. I'm kidding. Kidding.
Stop.
I'm kidding. Raul with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Raul says, with all the crying from the other fan bases, we should just end the voicemail with "fuck the rest of the MLB." Yeah. Well, he didn't say of the MLB. I don't know why I said the.
I don't know.
The rest of MLB.
Yeah, you're a stickler for that one too.
That was listen. I mean, I'm not so much of a stickler for that. Godzilla earlier in the chat, by the way, $5. Thank you much for the support, Godzilla. You're my favorite monster. We have already three-peated. We've won the last 3 off seasons, getting the best players available. I don't know. I mean, I don't disagree with the the spirit of the chat. It feels a little Padre-y to me. Outside of we actually won 2 World Series. But yeah, that feels Padres. Oh, we won the offseason. Remember that dumbass fan fest? Like, oh, we're gonna be right back here in October or whatever the hell they said.
Who do you want us to play in the World Series? Whatever Tatis said.
They're so dumb.
Yeah,
God, they're so dumb.
Foot, meat, mouth situations. It's a lot of those in San Diego.
I had this earlier from Braves Today, friends, part of the Bleav Network of family of podcasts here, says the whole fair fight stuff is overblown. Toronto took y'all to the limit. Go ahead and flex the resources. Fans can be mad at MLB, not y'all. This is from an outside perspective of somebody who covers a team, and the Braves have been good. So, Braves Today, obviously, if they're part of Bleav Network, they do a great job of covering a baseball team in the Braves. This is a team that just won in 2021 and then immediately did not want to invest in their own franchise icon. So the Dodgers helped them out and took Freddy for them, took in this poor, sick, wounded boy. I don't know. It feels weird going too far with that one, but still.
They've struck out.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Jays look how they struck out a lot on big free agents. I mean, again, they just lost Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers. So there's Shohei Ohtani.
But I thought Kyle Tucker was on a plane, to be honest.
Yeah, they've tried to, but they've also built something there. It sucks that Bo Bichette left, but like getting Vladdy, Bo Bichette, who was the guy? He played for the Dodgers for like a hot second at third base. He was supposed to be good. He's somebody's son.
Kevin Biggio.
Yeah, Kevin Biggio. He was supposed to be good. He was part of that like young Jays core that they had brought up. But like that's part of the reason that they are as successful as they are. They also invest a lot in their pitching, and their pitchers have been really good too. And they're becoming a destination. Shane Bieber just said, "Hey, sign me up. Let's run it back."
Well, they also have friendship.
You do have the power of friendship. Yes. They do have the power, but like they're developing and they're becoming kind of a similar situation to the Dodgers. They invest heavily into their team, and just right now they're not the Dodgers, so players are kind of still picking the Dodgers. But like, I wouldn't be shocked in a few years or in a couple years if the Blue Jays are in a similar spot where it's like, hey, they can just start handing out like crazy contracts too, because they're building it the right way, it looks sustainable from our perspective.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like they're doing it the way you probably should. The Dodgers have this ability to do this short-term thing and just be like, hey, you want to be here for like 2-3 years for just a shit ton of money? And I mean, if I'm Kyle Tucker, I'm like, yeah, give me $60 million for 2 years, each of the next 2 years, and then maybe I'll go sign with Toronto then. He probably would have fit a lot better in Toronto. Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure this out. I think he's going to be a great fit with the Dodgers because he doesn't need to be the man with the organization. But that was one of the things when I was thinking about the whole fair fight stuff as well. My dog's upset about it. Is Toronto? They're absolutely doing it the right way. They have taken time. It's kind of like the first run of the Dodgers build-up with a lot of internal guys. Your Seagers, your Jock Petersons, all these guys, Walker Buehler's. Like they have built a lot internal. Yes, there's been some free agents and all of this. Hey, we get it. You're not a fan of the Blue Jays. My dog hates friendship. But now they're at this point where they can invest. They gave $500 million, like I said, to Vladdy Guerrero Jr. They can invest. They can hand out opportunities at 10-year, $700 million deals for Shohei, or 10 and $340, which was a report for Kyle Tucker. And one of these days, they're going to land that big fish. 100%. They're going to be able to get that guy. They probably should have given some money to Bo. I also understand why they didn't. He is an imperfect player, and maybe it was time to move on from that. We got another one from... Oh, go ahead.
It felt kind of like a Cody Bellinger situation where it's like, it might just be best if they, part ways. Don't get me wrong. Bo Bichette was amazing in the playoffs, but, there's injury risk. He did not have a good 24 season. So they might just said, hey, you know what? Like, thanks for what you've done, what you've helped build. We'll see you when we see you. But I mean, God, they got Vladdy too. God,
Yeah.
jeez, that guy's so good.
It's a good club. It's gonna be a good club.
It's a great club. Really good club. They're fun to watch. They play a really fun brand of baseball as long as it's not against the Dodgers.
By the way, burying this bigly, by the way, if you didn't see the latest odds over with our friends at FanDuel, last time Dodgers were plus 270 favorites to win the World Series. Now plus 220 favorites to win the World Series. Blue Jays still hanging strong there at that plus 1400. It feels like I think they moved up 1 or 2 spots. It's still, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see the Phillies or the Mariners or even the Yankees being in a better position than the Blue Jays to compete for.
The Yankees will get Garrett Cole back, so like
that helps.
Their pitching staff is pretty dang good with Garrett Cole, Max Fried, and then
Schmidt. Oh, Schmidt's out with an injury. He's gonna miss.
Yeah, they just traded for Ryan Weathers, who's like whatever, but they have a decent enough pitching staff, so like they'll be pretty good. Yep. Not Dodgers good, but they'll have a very top of the AL pitching staff. They have a decent enough bullpen. Obviously, would never have Aaron Judge, but like I can sort of see it. They need to make a couple moves. If they don't get Cody Bellinger, though, I expect the Mariners to jump the Yankees in those odds.
Yeah,
the Yankees need Bellinger.
Did you see, by the way, and thank you to FanDuel for being a presenting partner here on the All Dodgers podcast. But did you see people doing the wild speculations of Cody Bellinger's wife posting on her Instagram a picture of the Space Needle? It's like, oh, now everybody's like, he's going to Seattle. That would be
a fun outfield.
So they got J-Rod, they got Rosarena. Who do they have in right? Yeah. Somebody else, help us out. Mariners fans.
Isn't it?
We'll figure that out while I read. You figure that out while I read. We got a super chat from the Enigma. I'm gonna get into regular chats as well. I have all of these ones saved and they automatically save for us. But 499, thank you very much. There have been 16 different champions in baseball in the 21st century. We slow down compared to 10 in basketball, which has a cap. Tired of this narrative. Yeah, we didn't even really get into the whole salary floor, salary cap, which is going to be a lot of, in the lexicon, in the headlines for the next year and change as the CBA expires after the World Series next year. But even with all of this talent, does not guarantee shit for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We know that. Again, they were half a spike away from losing this World Series.
I know. Oh, poor Will.
Like a quarter of an inch.
I know. And to the Mariners question, it looks like it's a Victor Robles, Luke Raley platoon.
So they could use Cody Bellinger.
They could use Cody Bellinger.
Where he's been a Gold Glove Award winner in right field.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun. They got a little bit of money in Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, they signed Josh. They extended Josh Naylor. Yeah.
They got a little bit of money. Just saying. Cody and Seattle. That would be pretty fun. I love that ballpark. I love that team. It's a good team. I was pulling for them on the AL side.
I was too. I really wanted that was
got our
my
boy
dream.
Dumper over there as well.
Yeah, Dodgers Mariner World Series would have been fun too.
They should have a little bit of money too because they're out from under Polanco, out from under Suarez. Not that they were eating up most of those contracts, but even so, it's not a Mariners podcast. $2 from Kevin, another Kevin, Dodgers, Guerra.
Oh, many of us.
So many Kevins. Didn't think LA would go for Tucker or Tuck. Huh? Tucker or Tuck? Anyways, yeah, I didn't know that I figured they would be in the conversation for sure. Didn't think they would eventually land him. Let's get back into voicemails. We got 2 more in the tank. Let's see. Let's go ahead and listen to, I believe this is, actually, I want to listen to Darren, and then poor Richie's going to have to wait to get his F-bombs in. Here is my friend Darren.
Yes, hi, Darren Shepard here in Jeff's backyard. Just wanted to drop a quick line here in regards to what I've been seeing in the media lately that has been kind of annoying. I just watched a YouTube video with Dan Patrick and Mad Dog Russo. They was talking about how what the Dodgers are doing is just bad for baseball. Not only is it not true what they're doing is bad for baseball, but what's really getting frustrating is here are 2 people that know better about baseball and are getting things wrong. They said that in the NFL, you could go worst to first, and that's just not something you can do in baseball. We literally just saw it happen. In 2024, the Blue Jays were in last place in their division, and they made it all the way to the World Series last year in 2025. They're saying that, the Dodgers are signing all these players. Well, the only reason why the Dodgers are able to sign all these players is simply because the rich teams that they were with, the Houston Astros, the Red Sox, the, Braves, all these teams that they were with before didn't want to pay their star franchise players, so it gave the Dodgers a chance to sign them. There's so many things that they're getting wrong in baseball that's making very frustrating to actually even listen to traditional media when it comes to that. Not to mention, Mad Dog Russo also thought Roki Sasaki got a $200 million contract, which he didn't. It's getting really frustrating to have to listen to this and having to keep justifying the fact that the Dodgers are not buying their championships. While they are spending money, yes, they're only spending money because the rest of the teams refuse to sign their own talent. That's all I got. Appreciate it.
And the Sasaki kid, he's the ace of the club, right? Give me your thoughts on that quick. Go ahead.
I can't stand Mad Dog. I didn't like him before. I don't. He's impossible to listen to.
Appreciate Darren.
He's
a
baseball
great call.
Skip Bayless. It's rough.
Yeah. To Darren's point, yeah, listening to media, man, these days, like things that are part of the big networks, the 4-letter in particular. I'm not saying we consistently deliver exceptional takes here on the All Dodgers podcast. That guy, I pointed the right way. We call him Bad Take Kevin for fun on occasion. I've had my fair share of stinkers, and we own them. They kind of don't own them. And there is a difficulty, of course, in, like, I think of radio. Thankfully, people don't listen to that much radio anymore for a lot of this shit to get clipped and put online. They only put the best stuff online on the radio station social media account. But you're talking about these people filling 3-4 hours a day, 5 days a week. You're going to say a lot of dumb shit. You're not going to be informed. You're not going to have the most intelligent information or intelligent takes or all of the information on your whatever the subject matter is. And somebody like a Mad Dog, somebody like Dan Patrick, these people that cover other teams, like, it gets a lot more difficult to be invested in the nuance of baseball. And sadly, fans watch that shit more than they watch shit like us. And again, I'm not saying you're going to learn a whole lot here, but at least you're going to have a good time. And we have an air horn, and you get to say, fucking shit and piss and whatever on Saturdays here on the All Dodgers podcast.
Yeah, traditional media. I mean, like, they also have it tough because they cover it from a national perspective. So they're not as in the know as we are because we follow the team on a daily basis. I mean, it doesn't alleviate them of their responsibility to say to provide accurate reports or accurate media, but they just don't. So it's tough to listen to, and yeah, I still scratch my head at how the Braves don't just pay Freddie Freeman. Like, yeah, Matt Olson's worked out for them, sure, but like, why do you not just pay Freddie? He's like I don't get that. Same with Boston. You don't just pay Mookie Betts. And then if more teams spent money in free agency, the Dodgers, there'd be less players for the Dodgers to go and get. You know what I mean? So spoiler alert. If the Rays spent money, they would also. There'd be, less of these players for the Dodgers to sign. And then,
great point.
Yeah, I'm happy as a Dodgers fan. It sucks that people just are tired of it.
It's a Dodgers orphanage. We're taking in these poor boys that don't have a ball club anymore, or their ball club can't feed them and take care of them anymore. For just the low price of $40 million a year, you can feed your Mookie Betts.
It does help though when the Dodgers springboard a lot of players to bigger contracts like a Tyler Anderson and Andrew Heaney. We talked about them earlier. Shelby Miller, Ryan Brazier for a little bit. So it's
yeah, that's a really good point as well. Yeah, there are dudes out there that were helped or fixed by the Dodgers 100%. $5 from Seth Klein. Being a nice fellow says, I'm saying you have great takes even when they are wrong. which we appreciate. We appreciate that from everybody's favorite Klein. That includes World Series champion Will Klein. That is his cousin. It is not his cousin. Absolutely. Couple random ones here. Well, let's get more from the Enigma. Man, Enigma's got time and money today. We appreciate you, the Enigma. At this point, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. And by the way, all you guys super chats that go directly to supporting us, supporting the show. Doesn't go to anybody else. Doesn't go to some sort of big backer or investment firm. Goes right to us, humans trying to just bring you content on a Saturday or other days of the week. At this point, does anyone not believe Friedman will not outbid everyone for Skubal next winter? I'd put money on it. The Tarek Skubal winter, it's going to be fun. I'll tell you this. He's not going to sign an extension with the Detroit Tigers. Breaking
He
news.
likes it there, but it'll be interesting to see how the Dodgers approach it, because right now they definitely don't need another starting pitcher. They still have a few years left of everybody, but I mean, I won't say no to Tarek Skubal, but I don't know. How old is he going to be when he hits free agency?
Old enough to win a championship, I'll tell you that much.
He's going to be, okay. Well,
30,
he'll be 30.
30? Okay.
He'll be 30.
This is age 29 season.
So he'll want a 8-10 year deal. Dodgers don't love handing those out to just anybody. Might be a Kyle Tucker situation, but trust me, somebody will pay Tarek Skubal handsomely.
Yes. Yeah. I would be shocked if he's a Dodger, but then again, I'm shocked that Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz are Dodgers. So maybe that bodes well for us and my bad takes. $1.99 from either Alan or Alonzo in the chat. Says Tarek Skubal for Glasnow and Sheehan worth it? Yes, provided there is an extension. There's at least 4 extra years. For the 1 year, that is tough because you are giving up 2 more years of team control with Glasnow and 4 more with Sheehan, I think. Yeah. So
I'm
giving it even with all of the talent they still have kind of ready to go. River Ryan.
I don't love trading 2
is tough.
Starting pitchers. That's a lot. You get 2, you get 1 back, but I don't know. 2. I'd rather do Sheehan and some of the outfielders, and you could still throw in a Jackson Ferris or somebody like that. But I wouldn't want to do Sheehan and Glasnow just because, I want both. I want at least one of them for 162 because can't have enough starting pitching.
Yeah. And, they plug him into the bullpen. Sheehan eventually had 1 or 2 decent games out of the bullpen. We were hoping he would be a lot better, but didn't quite work out for your boy Emmett. Noah, much earlier in the chat. So obviously we talked a whole lot about fair fight, and I think that is a fair conversation to have. This be the majority of the show. Not going to be around too much longer today, so we'll probably bucket the "Are the Dodgers done?" conversation for either just Jeff or potentially me and Jeff, or maybe there's Kevin around. I don't know, but the Jeff show tomorrow night, Sunday evening here on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. We'll ask, "Are the Dodgers done?" But in the spirit of those, we have two chats that I had saved. One from Noah asking the question, who do we prefer, Freeland or Ha-Seong Kim? You take that one first. Because I got thoughts.
That's really tough. Prefer as in, I guess define prefer.
Well, I'm reading this as prefer that they kind of work out, I guess. That's how I'm reading it. That
seems a little too personal to me because I don't care necessarily who it is.
One of them.
One of them would be great
for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the question to who I think will work out. I honestly think it'll be Alex Freeland. There are not many KBO players offensively that work out in MLB. So like Jung-Hoo Lee and Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah, is Jung-Hoo Lee even in that conversation yet?
I mean, he had a good year last year. Offensively, he had a very good year last year when he came back from injury. And Ha-Seong Kim, it took a few years, but those two are kind of the exception. Usually KBO players struggle, so I think Alex Freeland will work out. I don't care who does. I'd love it if both of them did. So I have no preference in the matter, but I think Freeland has a better chance at being an everyday major league player.
Yeah, if Kim can again figure out major league pitching and play a clean defensive outfield to add to his versatility, then he'll be he has the potential of working out better because he's got a good arm. He's got the wheels. I don't think Freeland has the same kind of foot speed that Ha-Seong Kim has available to him. But Alex Freeland, when you're talking about the arm and the defense on the infield, the bat was good at AAA. It just needs to find its way to the big league level. But I think I kind of agree with you. Freeland probably the floor is a little bit higher right now. Not that he hit well last year in his debut.
Yeah.
The Enigma also much earlier in the chat. $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Again. Appreciate it. I don't even know if he's old enough to drink, but I owe this kid a beer. Talking about helping the roster and helping some of these dudes, some of the players that are kind of, I guess, don't have jobs, don't have opportunities. Saying trade Miller, being Bobby, and Ryan Ward for prospects to make up for the picks that we lost with the Diaz and Kyle Tucker signings. Yeah, the Dodgers did lose a lot of draft picks. 4 draft picks now? Is it 4?
Because they lost their second, third, and fifth.
Yeah, it's a lot of draft picks.
Is fifth and sixth. I think they only have their first and fourth.
Okay, well, they'll find a way to make it work. They always do.
I'd be fine with that. It also frees up some 40-man roster spots because they're gonna need them eventually. So I mean, they already need them now.
They need them,
but
they need at least one. Sorry, Michael Ciani. They need at least one to make this deal official, the Kyle Tucker deal official on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever that presser does happen. The final one we have for you, you know who it's going to be. Sorry, Richie. Listen, I'm making him wait, making him sweat it out because why not? I didn't mean to. I meant on playing most of the voicemails earlier in the show, but then conversation just happened. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it. We're trying to get to the first 22,000 subscribers, and then we'll hopefully get to 25,000. If we can get to 22 before opening day or even spring training, we'd appreciate you a whole bunch for it. Either way, we appreciate you being here, and here is Richie.
Well, what up, guys? It's Noah.
That is not Richie. That is Noah.
Once upon a time, there were 5 hyenas in the jungle that would walk by a lion every day. And the cackling hyenas would poke the bear, mess with the lion, kick dirt in his face. And the lion would just sit there and take it and just kind of wave his tail and shoo the flies away. Then one day, the same hyenas on their way to the pond saw the lion and decided to start screwing with them again. But this time, the lion rose, and he roared very loudly, and he proceeded to rip all 5 hyenas a new asshole with only the grit and the power of the king of the jungle could.
That's mental toughness.
And then when it was all said and done, when the dust had settled and the carnage was lying all over the place, he sent a clear message to the rest of the jungle. Don't fuck with me. I'm still the king of this jungle, and I'm to be respected. From 2013 up until about 2019, the Dodgers' postseason failures were mocked. Kershaw took the biggest incoming of them all, and we were laughed at and mocked at. Then in 2020, we finally broke through, but then it was the Mickey Mouse World Series. And then in 22 and 23, losing to divisional rivals in the first round, the laughter was louder than ever. And then finally, the Dodgers were like that lion. They said enough was enough, and they went out and flexed their muscles from a front office and an ownership group that accepts nothing less than perfection. The same fans that are losing their shit over us getting Tucker yesterday were the same people that were yelling and screaming and laughing and poking fun at us for all those years. Well, it's not so fucking funny anymore, is it, assholes? At the end of the day, it's your front office, your ownership group that's pocketing all the money. The Kansas City Royals were a powerhouse in the 1970s and early 80s. They drafted well. They had George Brett. They had Buddy Biancalana. They had Buddy Black to come out of the bullpen and slam games shut. They had all of these studs, speed, defense, power. And then one day, it went away. That's not our problem. Teams, even in a small market, if they draft well, invest well, and play their cards well, you can compete. Baseball is the only game that I can think of to where you can compete. So at the end of the day, I say this. Fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot. fuck Manny Machado, fuck the Padres, fuck Tatis, Schilt, and Profar, and for the love of God, fuck the Ghost Runner.
Yeah. Richie left himself enough time to get his F-bombs in there. It had been weeks.
Just enough time.
It had been weeks since Richie dropped his F-bombs, but honestly, a lot of good stuff. I like the lion analogy because it plays with what I had said with this whole narrative on Dodgers territory yesterday. The enough is enough narrative. This is what I wrote out in our rundown of things to talk about on the show yesterday with Katie. Is like, I didn't include the 13 through 19, but you could make that argument. The embarrassment of 2019 and how that kind of shook out. 2018 not having enough, probably not having enough to beat those Red Sox, but you got there. You could have given them a better fight. Just a number of things did not work out well. They also could have invested in that bullpen a little bit more. Did not have to worry about Ryan Madsen entering a baseball game in Boston where he had no feel for his changeup because of the freezing weather and all this kind of stuff. 17, we already know, getting that opportunity for a fair fight in terms of level playing field and not cheating, that being stripped away from this team. 2015, somebody not covering third base and losing in the manner in which they did. All of that kind of stuff compounds and compiles to where they said enough is enough. We're fighting back, and we're using our financial might to get all of these people. But not, like you said, Kevin, earlier in the show, it's not just like what the Mets are doing in getting name brands, getting, Juan Soto's and let's say, Lindor. I think that might predate Cohen. I'm not 100% certain. But anyways, getting guys that don't necessarily gel well together. The Dodgers go out there, they get talent, but they get the right talent, the right people that are going to mesh with that club, or more so, not create a distraction. If there are people who are going to be distracting, create a distraction, they're going to get policed by somebody like Mickey Rowe, or in the past, somebody like a Jason Hayward, or JT. Currently JT, Freddie Freeman. They're going to have these kind of people to tell them, get in line, motherfucker. They clap back, and I'm happy to be a Dodger fan. Also, people chatting about the Ghost Runner. Listen, I'll tell you, as somebody who covers baseball occasionally for some amount of money, I love the Ghost Runner. I love the Ghost Runner. I love anything that makes the baseball game end easier or earlier so I can have something of a night. Anyways.
Yeah. Don't need 18 inning games in the middle of July. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Thoughts before we go to what looks like the final of Super Chat from our favorite Kevin?
No, I'm good. This was a fun one, as always.
A lot of good
good
stuff. An hour 17 hanging out here on this Saturday. We appreciate you guys. Of course, $15 from our friend Kevin Uhas to send us off. He says Tucker makes this lineup dangerous. Let's go and win a three-peat, maybe a quad. Thanks for the show today. It's always great. And for everyone else, like, comment, and subscribe, and you can get that Discord. Yeah, get the Discord. Check out where I got to push this button, patreon.com/realfrg, or click the join button here on YouTube. It's $5 a month. Like I said earlier, you directly support independent media, independent Dodgers coverage, people, human beings, not some other, corporate entity or something like that. You're supporting us, so we'd appreciate it if you would consider it. If not, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe. That's another fantastic way to support the show. But yeah, we thank everybody hanging out in the chat. Very, very good chat today. Phil saying we gotta allow Clint his beauty sleep. Yeah, I might go back to bed for a little bit. I woke up too early today. But we'll be back. Some version of the show will be back tomorrow night on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the engagement. Chatting in the chat and all that kind of stuff. Kyle Tucker's a Dodger. It's a great time to be a Dodger. It's not a three-peat. We're talking minimum 8-peat for these Dodgers, ladies and gentlemen. Great time to be a Dodger fan. Thank you to FanDuel for presenting the show. Thank you to the Bleav Network for having us on the network. I think I've ran out of things to say, so we'll see you on the next one. Bye.